Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DarkPhoenix Gaming, and you are watching Kaiserreich with the German Empire. Apologies for the delay in starting the stream, but I woke up a little late this morning for one thing, and I wasn't able to start immediately upon being set up because my dad decided this was the morning to give random financial advice. Which I'm sure I won't be complaining about when I need it, but yeah, that wasn't particularly helpful. Anyways, just so you're aware once again of where we stand. At the moment, we as Germany are in the middle of restoring the Bundesrat. I think that's how you say that. I will butcher all of the names. I have said this before and I will say this again. It's just how things go with me. All the names get butchered. Hey, we're in the middle of that so that I can continue down the tree to be able to un-Black Monday us, basically. It is the middle of 1937, as you can see. The Socialists won the Russian Civil War, which is a little bit problematic. We now have a Red Russia on our Eastern Front. This is not good. This is very, extremely, very not good. Also, the Indo-Chinese Union rebelled against our colony in German East Asia last time. And quite problematically, we have no way to feasibly help them out. We have no options to join their war or send them volunteers. Or anything like that. We just have to sit back and hope they can do something about it. Which is annoying because I know in a previous version of this mod, you actually got an event to be able to join the war or send volunteers to them or something. But now, we don't even have the option to take a decision to help them out. Or anything like that. Which is extremely aggravating. Of course, China is a hot mess, as always. And the things that matter to us, we're currently fighting a couple of proxy wars. As I have volunteers over in the American Union State, as well as the Kingdom of Spain. We're trying to effect a favorable outcome in at least one of these conflicts, and hopefully avoid Red America and Red Spain, as either of those will join the Internationale, which they will then have a crap ton more manpower they can throw at us. And fortunately, I don't really have a whole lot in the way of concrete strategy for prosecuting this war. Our infantry equipment production is being a little questionable right now. We have a deficit of about 2,600. Commune of France is apparently justifying against us. It's something about this focus of theirs, which I don't actually know what is. Drinks with King Sisvang. I don't know what that means. But thanks to that, there is a justification against us. I mean, as far as we can tell, they're not conventionally justifying a war. But that's enough of all of my catch-ups. Let's unpause the game finally and see what we can do. And you'll be happy to know that unlike my stream from yesterday, and we will actually reduce it to 2 speed, I think, just so that I can keep on top of things. You'll be happy to know that unlike my stream of Final Fantasy XIV yesterday, I have actually remembered to turn off my VPN before starting. Actually, no. 3 speed is fine. I've remembered to turn it off, hence the fact that Hawaii has joined the Entente. As I was trying to say, since I've turned it off, that will mean that there's not going to be any problems in the sense of unbearable lag or anything. Having the VPN on causes tons of problems when it comes to streaming properly, because OBS thinks that I'm in a different location than I am, so it gives me bad servers and stuff and lag and so on. Yeah. Okay, so the Fatherland Front has taken over in Bulgaria, who lost the Balkan War, as you may remember, and had essentially all of their gains from the Weltkrieg reversed as a result of that. Having once dominated over the Balkan Peninsula, the Tsardom of Bulgaria has fallen, defeated in war by its enemies in the Belgrade Pact. This so-called national catastrophe has destabilized the state and paved the way for nationalism, radicalism even, to take hold. Mere weeks after signing the Treaty of Sofia, the government has collapsed completely. It's been replaced by the Fatherland Front, an alliance of Republican forces in the country who seize control from exile and the underground. Though they have a strong socialist element, they're also allied with the decidedly non-socialist agrarian movement, Agrarian National Union even. Whichever these forces take charge, however, it is suspected that they will seek a path to peace in the Balkans. What does this mean for the Balkans? I have no idea. Though this is apparently not the path that leads to Bulgaria starting another Balkan War, which can happen, where they just basically declare war again and get stomped and partitioned. I have seen that happen, though admittedly it is quite rare. And BMG Finn, hello and welcome. Let's also see here. Germany and the Second Congress of the Internationale. The Congress has been received with anxiety in Germany, as I imagine it would do. The economic crisis still not completely solved, Every increase in socialist activity is a threat to the Reichspakt and the German Empire. In his latest speech, the Kaiser has condemned the socialists, but words are not enough. Action should be taken as well. We'll have to react somehow. Okay. We can hold here. Open.
Weiter! Weiter!
One of you get your butts over there. In fact, all of them.
Greift weiter an!
We just lost that. Let's unlose it. Okay. How are things going in the Americas?
Zuhören!
Got those divisions isolated there. Let's bop them. Yeah, I was wondering how things would go for Austria and Hungary. Empire's unity always seems to break down. In no small part. Empire, to be honest. They are just not. Not in the slightest. Crisis on the Danube. During the Austro-Hungarian Augsgleich of 1937, apologies for the butchered pronunciation there, the Austrians promised the autonomous states of their empire that the minorities in Transylvania, I assume that's Transylvania, would also receive autonomy. The Hungarians, however, were unable to oblige with the dismantlement of their state and privileges within the monarchy. In consequence, the Austrians have announced their intention to both humiliate Hungary and liberate the Slovaks, Transylvanians, and Ruthenes by force. Already skirmishes have begun along the Austro-Hungarian border. Only time will tell the fate of the former dual monarchy. The stability of Central Europe is threatened. This always seems to happen. I don't think I have seen the Austro-Hungarian Empire resolve this particular situation, or go through any game for that matter, without degenerating into full-scale civil war between its constituent parts, since the days when Kaiserreich was still in alpha. The Savoyard crisis resolved. A few days ago, a demand from the Commune of France was telegraphed to the Swiss government. See the province of Haute-Savoie under threat of armed coercion. The French characterized their demands as a need to end the persecution of the French population within the province. The Swiss government decided to avoid war and agreed, stating that a peaceful transfer of ownership was preferable to bloodshed. This is a victory for the French government, which has already declared the reclamation of Haute-Savoie a victory for the world's working class. Syndicalism spreads. Upper Savoy? Is that what they're talking about? This little bit right here? I guess so. Which also means now that Geneva shares even more of a border with the French. Although, this is one of the ways that it will primarily go. That confrontation between the French and Swiss, which I'm assuming is what that King something something focus they were doing before was. I forget where it was, so I can't really find it. Anyways. Yeah, this is the most common way for that to go, but there is an alternative that can happen where there is a socialist revolution in Switzerland that overthrows the government. And instead of the province rejoining France, the Swiss become socialist. That's a very rare outcome, admittedly, but that doesn't mean it won't happen sometimes.
Angetreten. Ausrücken.
Okay. Let's check things out in the Americas. America goes as America goes. Ever since, let's see, crisis over Koto. Ever since the independence of Panama from Spain, they've laid claim over the Koto region. A region in Panama's Chiriqui province along the Panamanian-Costa Rican border. 1911, the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court was asked to arbitrate. Rendered his decision in 1914, but Panama did not accept it, aligning that it favored Costa Rica. Hostilities broke out in 1921 when Costa Rica invaded the area. Panama recaptured the area easily. The conflict spread, however, when Costa Rica moved into the provinces of Bocas del Toro. Fearing that its interests might be threatened, the United States forced Panama to accept the White House decision, or something, I don't know. That's a very weird phrasing. Well aware that the Americans are in no position to save Costa Rica once more, the Panama government has sent another ultimatum to San Jose, demanding the extradition of the Koto region. Even though we have little reason to mitigate their small dispute, finding a peaceful resolution to the crisis will reaffirm our status as excellent negotiators. And could force the Central American region back into submission. Let's see. Do we have any relationship with either of them? I don't remember. There was some random Central American country that we issued a guarantee to? What's that? Yeah, it was Costa Rica. So, we'll offer to sit down with them, but they'll probably think that we're about to favor Costa Rica, which we may well do. I will offer to sit down with them, however. My improved tank chassis is done. We will do... Let's see. What do we want next? Some more naval bits and bobs, maybe? Or anything over here. Signal company, I think, would actually be the better choice. Germans help out with that particular offensive. We're holding the line against socialists, although Carlists are on the verge of taking Madrid.
Bereit zum Ausrücken.
This could be a problem. In other news, Washington has now fallen to the combined syndicates of America. It's safe to say that the US federal government is not doing great. They have now lost Washington, and Panama accepts the follow white ruling. Unwilling to escalate the matter any further and afraid of our military might, the government of Panama has agreed to end the dispute and adhere to the follow white ruling. Diplomats from both nations have gathered in David to finish the official documents, and after the formalities are over, this situation will finally be resolved for good. Costa Rica will reclaim the Coto region, and Panama will give up all claims on the territory. Good. And Swiss cave in. Right, with regards to them giving up that province. The humiliation of Switzerland, we must now be more prepared than ever to war with France and her allies. We will be ready. Well, we probably won't be ready, to be honest, but we will say that we'll be ready. Which is clearly the same thing, right? Chinese randos fighting each other, as per usual. Mongolia starting a war with the Mongolik alongside Tibet. As always happens, we do not care about the Mongolians. They don't matter to us. What does matter is that Boston has now fallen to the syndicalists.
Bereit zum Ausrücken.
That bit down there's been taken. The federal government is a lump state at this point. I'm going to move our volunteers up to the syndicalist front. And we can help out against the CSA now, primarily, I think. So, the 1937 Dutch elections. Here we're both winning and losing over here. I think we need to pull off and halt that attack. We're trying to defend against CNT forces in Spain. (1937) Dutch elections. Netherlands has traditionally been one of the most politically stable nations in Europe, and the Dutch people have for years been entrenched in their own institutional pillars, which have tended to undermine radical tendencies due to the economic chaos caused by the Netherlands' close ties to Germany and Middle Europa, and the rise of the far-left Red Front and nationalist VNH. The country's political situation is more tense than it has been in many years. The ruling CNA, an electoral bloc made up of conservative and confessional parties won the election with a tiny minority. Unwilling to rule alone, they invited the liberal LSP party into coalition. Hungary now has a distinctly centrist government, might be more willing to negotiate with the far left and right. The Dutch do love their elections. That they do. That they do. Okay, Spain is in stalemate as before, and Puerto Rico declares independence. What took them so long, honestly? No, that's not Puerto Rico, that's Puerto Rico. My Central and South American geography is atrocious. I do apologize. Their ranks swollen with recruits, Puerto Rican nationalist rebels wrested control of the island's capital and key military installations in one fell swoop. Foreign forces evacuated the island in the face of this coordinated assault. While sporadic police resistance continues, the island has come definitively under nationalist control. Pedro Albizu Campos has been appointed president of the self-proclaimed Republic of Puerto Rico, and a new legislature has been assembled from within his party. Well, so far, the nationalists have been occupied with consolidating their rule. The political agenda is clear. They continue to seek the total independence of Puerto Rico by any means necessary, and come what may, the eagle falls further. Yes, Puerto Rico is no longer even nominally part of the United States. Have fun with that, guys. Have fun with that. I'm sure they will really enjoy that. And America is in no way throwing a hissy fit or planning a reclamation campaign or anything. Not that the US federal government is in any position to do that sort of thing, mind you, but I doubt whoever wins is going to be of a mind to let Puerto Rico continue as it is, unless they join the Entente or something, which could happen. We have now restored the Bundesrat. So, we could do a few of these things around here. Not those, because they require me to have bailed out the Junkers instead of liquidated the unprofitable ones. So, we will do this. I cannot even pronounce that, so I'm not going to try, as I would just fail badly. The contacts and friends of Groner in military circles have now proposed a radical innovation. For the duration of the crisis, recruits will be able to choose to fulfill half a year of military service, as many will laborers in state service instead. While bad for recruitment numbers, this will inject some much-needed labor into our economy, which will reduce the consumer goods factory need from Black Monday effects and just make it less severe overall. that will take 70 days to finish. And unsurprisingly, the Hungarians are getting thoroughly stomped. Not even a little bit surprising, that. Not even a little bit. That region has been taken back from the CNTFAI. Madrid is in a bad place, however. And it is currently sandwiched between CNT and the Coralists. Right here. The presence of my volunteers is, of course, helping the Spanish kingdom stem the tide, but even so, it's not a great result. Now, is it? Okay. Can we? This is a little ambitious because it involves attacking across a river, but I want to see if we can get a foothold in CSA territory by getting some of the lands over the river under our control. I doubt we'll manage to kill either the CSA or the CNTFAI, but I'm giving them a good battering, which is nice. So, more naval stuff. U-boats, please. Some of my bases in Germany are apparently in low supply. Speaking of, Officer Corps. Let me see here. You guys. I'll have a bunch of my planes just do training exercises so that our Air Force gets some practice. We're missing naval bombers and fighters in our production. I'm not gonna do any more right now. Let's see here. Attack over there. Let's see if we can't do a combined offensive to force them back. And the Kingdom of Spain in the north has pushed the Carlists back from being on the doorstep of Madrid, which is good news for them. Very good news. I'm sure they appreciate that. Princely Federation has declared war on Mysore? Mysore? I don't know how you say that, but... it's this rebel state down here in southern India, basically. I occasionally see a rebellion by them, but they never seem to do well. Ever. Erich Ludendorff dies. Even after his death was reported this morning, Erich Ludendorff remains one of the most controversial people in recent German history. On the one hand, he was a hero of the Weltkrieg, the orchestrator of the German victory in the 1919 fall of France. On the other hand, most Germans haven't forgotten the ensuing military dictatorship that only ended when Admiral von Tirpitz forced him to retire after the infamous... I have no idea how you even say that. In 1924, though Ludendorff still received some honors for his service. Like his knighthood, the former quartermaster general also led a secluded life at his estate afterwards. Let's remember the genius, not the dictator. So apparently we actually get an event for Ludendorff dying now. I don't remember that being in the game the last time I played as Germany. Or the mod, rather.